Leaving it at 36. Leaving it at 21. I mean, I could send it back around. I'd have larger gaps in this, but I could totally do that. If it's not cold enough, then I send it back through for another cycle. Sure, alright. Let's do that. And I would want this one to bridge across, giving the liquid that's already in the cycle a chance to jump back out, to go round again. Let's grab the wire, hook that up properly. And we'll pop this up on a 6, and we'll remind me to come back down here and check on that, chat. Super gonna need to remember that one. How's all this going? Not going terribly. Could be a little bit faster, but it's not going terribly so far. Keeping things running where we can. I absolutely feel that it is 100% redeemable, what we've got right now. It's just going to take us time, which is vexing for certain. But we can do it. We've got a fantastic situation with calories. We've got a good situation with oxygen. And where we need to, we can get a little bit of extra power in the system. How's this doing? Regolith at a decent temperature. Regolith in here. Not doing amazing, really. I would like it if we could get in there and sort this out a bit better than we are, but oh well. And it's slowly rising. What I really would have liked to have done, or what I should have done. I am tempted to do this, chat. Save me from myself. Convince me not to. I say, screw it. Allow this steam to just dump out. Get in there. Add in a bunch of, like, I don't know, diamond temp shift plates or something silly. And reverse the flow so that this isn't crossing over itself constantly. What's the temperature up here? Temperature up here is doing okay. What's the temperature in the coolant? Well, the temperature in the coolant is going to be equalized because of everything up there. So in a way, that's keeping everything sorted. What are we actually checking for? What kind of... If it's below 50, then we don't even turn this on. Yeah, I strongly feel that getting in there and sorting that out would be a big help for us, but we've got more than enough material here as well. More than enough material. The rock down here is fine. We've got crazy amounts of the stuff. Slowly, every now and then, it causes this water to overheat and become gas, which then cools down everything around here. I mean, on the surface, this system isn't terrible. It's just, it's nowhere near the system that I was hoping it would be. I'm a little disappointed at how much I was banking on that working wonderfully, and it just did not. What are Moors? Fantasy Striker asks. Moors are a way for people to extend the stream. With the caveat that if I really don't want to stream longer, I'm not going to. But it's basically a way of people using their channel points to let me know that they're really, really enjoying the stream and would love for a bit more time. Effectively, every more redeemed, and there's a maximum amount you can redeem per stream, will encourage me to stream for another 30 minutes. So I allow 4 to be redeemed, so I'll stream an extra 2 hours beyond where I was planning to wrap things up. Or I'll feel guilty because I don't. You know, ultimately, if I've got to go, I'm going to go. you know. But, yeah. I will feel guilty about doing it, so. What's the temperature there? It's not awful. It's not awful. It's starting to get a bit cooler now. It's starting to see much better overall temperatures in this system. By the time that it gets up here, 22 degrees. It is pulling this temperature down a little bit, I think. Little by little, bit by bit. Little by little, bit by bit. Right now, I don't think actually there's much point in us having that loop up there, so we can, I suppose, totally just bridge over at this point. And I'm going to go ahead and just isolate this. Let's get these ones done as a fairly high priority, though. We will use an 8 there, because I do want to make sure that one's done, but then the rest of it can be a 6. I'm just going to allow these there to slowly cool the upper part of the biome. I think that'll actually be pretty good. No research focus selected. Yes, I know. But there are new printables. We're so far away from being able to build a new area that I'm not going to worry about it for now. But we will get there in time. It will be a thing that eventually happens, chat. Trust me. It is an inevitability. Okay, so now then, we have what we need. And what I need down here is the maximum throughput on a pipe is 10 kilos of water. I'm going to explain how a powerless filter works. Also, hello, Xenophanes. How are you doing, mate? Did I get that right? Was it Xenophanes? I approve of the italics emotes in chat. I was actually surprised you're streaming at all right now. Cass is still visiting, right? Yeah, Cass is going to be here for almost 2 weeks. Right now, she's chilling out with Lady Sheila, watching The Good Place, whilst they're both digesting. Basically, they are fighting and losing against a food coma. But, yeah, the way this is going to work is each one of these can hold 10 kilos. I am going to say that this should allow through, at most, 100 grams. Significantly less than 10 kilos. You might be thinking to yourself. And the same over here, 100 grams. You could have a 10 grams. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you... I'd probably recommend not going down as low as 10 grams, or 1 gram, sorry, but 10 grams is probably fine. But I'm going to go with 100 grams, just because. And, Avak, check on the core. I will. Thank you very much for reminding me, though. Diolch yn fawr. And what will happen is because of the way this is directed, it's going to give flow to this little system here. So I'm going to branch over something, for example, a pipe or what have you. And the output of that pipe is going to try and go into here. Only a very small amount of it is going to be able to fit. 9.9 kilos is still going to be left behind this, but 100 grams is going to move through. Then another bridge over there is going to allow the remaining, because ultimately there's going to be 100 grams just moving around in this pipe, and every now and then 9.9 extra kilos is going to try and join this pipe. It's not going to be able to squeeze through there, so it's going to take the overflow route. Now, the way that liquids in pipes work in Oni is you can't have two elements in the same space. So although, let's go up here, because this is where I'm going to be doing the water. So if I've got a bridge section trying to move items over here, and there's just 100 grams in each one of these pipes of water, if, let's say, polluted water tries to access the bridge, it won't go through it because it can't exit the bridge and join anything up here. Bridges never contain liquid. There is simply an input and an output. They, for all intents and purposes, the liquids magically teleport from the input to the output. They don't actually sit in the bridge pipe. But when the polluted dirt comes across, it'll check to see if it can enter the bridge, because it'll want to, if it can, but it'll see that there's no room for it to exit the bridge, because on the other side is 100 grams of water, and polluted water and water can't mix. So it'll just bypass that bridge and just carry on its merry way. So in effect, the only liquid that can move through this bridge and into this little circuit is water, and 9.9 kilos will do that. And then it'll get up to here. 100 kilos of that 9.9 kilos will move across. Then 9.8 kilos will move up and carry on its merry way, because it couldn't fit through, but there was a viable access point, viable route for it to take. When any liquid comes towards an input valve or an input gate, or however you want to consider this, an aperture through which it can go, it will try to go through it. The aperture has priority. The white entry always has priority on traffic. So the bulk of liquid will try to enter this point. It won't be able to. Well, 100 grams will be able to, and then the rest will move on. Why not 1 gram instead of 100? I just like dealing with slightly larger numbers. I don't think that the thing with Oni is speed introduces weirdness in the simulation, especially as the game gets bigger and bigger. And as you can notice, the autosaves are taking inordinately more time each time they happen. And one of the things that I'm going to try and avoid is having the system break, basically. And one of the ways to do that is not to do little things that the simulation might try to do a shortcut to get around. And 1 gram is a little bit more easy for the system to inaccurately calculate than 100 grams. So if we do that, this is what's going to happen. It's going to siphon off a little bit of water, and then that will prime this system. In fact, I'm going to make all of this innate. Do make this innate, because someone has to come and actually manually tweak these valves. It is a thing that must occur. Hopefully someone will do that soon. I believe the flow rate... Oh, that's gone down to 0 grams. New. I want 100 grams, please. There we are. Thank you. And this one, 100 grams, I believe. Yes, that one's already been set up. There we go. So if you look at that now, as you can see, the water is moving as it should. Over here, we've got 10 kilos of water here. 9.9 kilos of water here. Forever 9.9 kilos, because 0.1 kilo is moving through and is just rotating around. This water can no longer go over there. So at this point, this little filter is complete. And I can happily hook that up. So let's go ahead and do that. Because as soon as I do this, I can get rid of this vent. Oh, it's going to be so good to get rid of that. Because that's pulling 120 watts for something I can do for free. And as you can see, this is the overflow. This is the water that can't enter the system for some reason or another. And right now, it's just going straight up there and entering the system anyway, because it's being contrary. But you know what? It's fine. Now, down here, I specifically need a wee bit, just a titchy bit of polluted water to prime this system. So we're going to do that by doing this. And as soon as we have that done, the polluted water filter is primed, and then I can just drop a vent there, and we're golden. We're golden forevermore. That can be deconstructed now. Put that on 6. There you go. Powerless filter. Working as intended. Avak, would you ever re-explain your opinions on why not 1 gram? Twitched, just as you explained. Oh, I was just saying that 1 gram is easier for the simulation to try and do a mathematical shortcut on and then mess up. 100 grams is less easy for it to mess up. Especially when you're running on speed 3 on a large base. Any game like this, which is such hard simulation, is going to do an enormous amount of shortcuts to get things sorted. Here we come. A little bit of polluted water. Hopefully it doesn't need to go into anything. Good, good, good. Going down. Oh no, it got nabbed by something. Not sure what, but it got stolen. Very sad. Here's a big wallop of polluted water though. This should get in. Have a watch of that. There we go. It is filtering through, but that's fine. Enough of it is going to make it down here that it now primes the system. There we go. That's all we needed. And I can now safely remove all of that. And once that's gone, I can set this up on that side. And at this point, I'm going to say that we're actually in such a good position, I can just do away with this entirely. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't delete that while there's still water in it. Saved myself from some silliness there. Now, you can much better see this in motion now because that's out of the way. But we need this to bridge over. Tunk, tunk. And then just pop in a little liquid vent. And now that does mean that this water is eventually just, for all intents and purposes, it means that this is just being transplanted. Which isn't ideal. I'm not going to lie. I'm just moving water from one place to the next, and it's going to get in the way when it's down here, so maybe actually we shouldn't do that yet. But without this there, I'm never going to... Sorry. I'm never going to get the flow all the way through here the way I want it to. So we're going to have a look at that. What will we do? I wonder, what will we do? I mean, like, in a way, I could allow the water to just go down here, and eventually I'll be forced to let it drain into the frozen core. Some of it will freeze. Some of it absolutely won't. It'll be an interesting time. Oh, there we are. It's all set up. Good, good, good. Right, I want this removed. And this needs to be set to... If the temperature is above 10 degrees, I want it to go back through. Please and thanks. And I want these done quickly to get that system working properly. Coming in at about 32. Leaving at about 22. Not bad. Not bad. There we are. And now this is going to go back around for another swing. Each of these will trigger a different amount. If it's below 0, if it's above 10, if it's above 20. Because, sorry, if it's below 20. Because basically, if this is already at 0 degrees, then I don't need to chill it. It needs to get straight back out of here. If it's below 10, if it's above 10 degrees at this point, because it's got a bit further to travel, I can afford for it to be a little bit warmer. And if it's above 20 degrees, it's, you know, it's got a little bit to travel, and so on and so forth. We'll see this moving around a fair bit, depending on the liquid as it comes through. But you'll see some of it branching off here and there. This is going to be much cooler now. There we go. Then it'll start letting more through. Now what I could have done is had this test a little bit further up so that I could use a flow control to make sure that I don't completely stall the cooling loop every time this happens, but oh well. Tis what tis. For the most part, this is doing reasonably well now. What I don't really want is things getting stalled in the pipe though, because that's a bit dangerous. If something is forced to wait down here, it is going to lose so much heat. Because while it's sat there, it's just bleeding heat. Constantly. Why is some of this going back through? Definitely some of it shouldn't be. What is this set to? Oh, it's about 10 degrees, right? No, never mind. I was looking at 16s, I'm like, oh, that should be going through. But no, that's fine. We're not going to be sending as much back out, but the stuff that we do send out will be decently chilled, at least. But yeah, actually, I think getting a better flow rate down here would be quite useful. I could achieve that just by having a flow control here, though. Lots of things I could do. I think for now, let's just allow this to work as is. We're going to be sending much cooler water, but in smaller packets up top. This is generally now cool enough that it's being allowed through, though. Yeah, that's not too bad. The overall temperature in of the almost 5 tons of polluted water is now sufficiently low. But it is not being allowed out fast enough, which is a bit of an issue for me. It is stalling the movement of the coolant back down. We'll see. I mean, it's kind of doing its job for the time being. Doing its job enough, at least, but... Let's have a quick glance at the overall temperatures that we're looking at. Let's close that down. Quite a lot of heat leaking out in these corners, which I'm worried about. Overall, I mean, this is stupid hot, but overall, it's starting to look a little bit nicer now. It's starting to look a lot nicer, actually. Reasonably happy with what's going on there, especially considering we're not really using much power anymore. Oh, the generators have kicked in, at least briefly. For a time. They did some work, at least. We got crazy amounts of regolith there. Just waiting to be all processed. Unfortunately, this is... I really shouldn't have that there. I really do need to move this. Because where it is right now... I mean... I kind of need it to be in contact with this water because as a result it doesn't overheat, but at the same time... I do wonder... Because it has an overheat temperature. If I make it out of steel, then it has a decently hot one, but... 275. I guess the regolith is only 271, I suppose, but it does produce its own heat. So I need constant cooling, and active cooling going on there. So it isn't as easy to set up. Oh well. Make the bridge a valve instead. Well, if I made the bridge a valve for Tino Decay, it would force water back into the system. Right now, I want Oh, you mean this? Make this a valve? Is that what you're saying for Tino Decay? Making this bridge a valve? Yeah, the base is getting toasty. Believe it or not, the base is actually cooling down. That wouldn't help, because these are full packets. Unfortunately. Well, actually, no, it would help, because it would introduce the... Yeah, no, you're completely correct. Yeah, let's do that. Because that would, in effect, introduce the liquid in smaller amounts. Because see, the funny thing is, I've set this up over here to make sure that I'm pushing a single packet at a time through. But realistically... I don't actually care at this point if it's a single or if it's a full or a smaller packet. I want this part to be flow controlled, and then this part to make sure that there are only single packets going through, single full packets. So realistically, I need to rejig this a bit, and by a bit, I mean a lot. So let's go ahead and do that. we go. I really dislike having to do this on a high priority, but... What temperature did I make this? I did make it out of copper, interestingly. It's very interesting considering this overheat temperature. I guess it does handle fairly high ones, but... No, we'll make it out of steel. Let's make these slightly higher temperature. Sorry, priority. This can live here in much the same way as it was before, and then we just want to run this across. I am going to need to hook this up to power. So let's bring this down there. And at this point, once all of this is done, we should be okay. So go ahead and start pulling this down now. I'm afraid I'm going to... Let's grab you. There we go. Let's try and pull this apart in a bit more of a reasonable way. There we go. Hopefully, people will be around here in a moment to get all of this done. We'll raise that up a bit more. Thank you very much, Photino Decay. This is a much better way of doing it, yeah. I don't need to be making that out of steel. I could, just for the I have so much money factor, but... you know what, sure, let's go for it. Let's bling this out, if we're going to do it at all. Now, I want this one to detect if there is polluted water at all. If it detects polluted water, then it's allowed to eject it. But it'll be ejecting it in just three at a time kind of packets. There we go, we can get rid of that. Did I can't remember now. Did I specifically set it to have full like why did I make it full packets here? I can't remember. Oh. Wait, did I specifically want it to be full packets to make sure that I didn't cause anything to freeze? Ooh. Well, given that, then we'll set this to half a packet and hope for the best. Bonded sheet metal. Alec, you went from streaming too little to streaming too much. What a problem for me to have. My diamond shoes must be on too tight. Indeed. Is your wallet too small for your 50s as well, by any chance? Thank you very much for the sub, though, mate. Really appreciate it. Tier 2 as well for 29 months. There we go. Got a little bit of movement in there now. That's significantly better. Some of it is going back around for a second run. It never seems to need more than a second run, though, so... we should be fine to have it like this. Oh no, there we go. It's already starting to break. It's because it's holding position for too long. Having to repair tungsten pipes is expensive. This is where this really needs to be petroleum because of how what a large range of temperatures it can have. Yeah, there is a Draco just over there, but until I'm sure that the cooling loop is working, I don't really want to send... I don't want to send the Draco over there just to die. I feel bad enough as it is. I really do. There we go. Polluted water may now escape. It should not be going over there. The polluted water should never be going over here. Goodbye. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of you. At this point, I'm wondering if this pump should not activate unless there is space in the pipe ahead of it. Yeah, I think that would actually be a good way of doing it. Problem is, I kind of wanted to check if there's ever anything in there. I don't know what liquid is going to be there. Oh, well, I guess I could pick a liquid that it's never going to be. I suppose that's one way of doing it. The other one is to have a tank. Actually, having a tank is not a bad idea. In fact, yeah, I quite like the idea of popping down a little tank here. Now, the thing is, this tank, it may well be containing stupendously hot liquid. So, we're going to want this to be set up to handle that. There we go. And the liquids instead can go straight up and then out. And we can just go ahead and break those down. This will only allow liquid into it if there's enough room, and we'll stop requesting it when it's over a certain amount, and then we'll just allow it to bleed out for a while. So it basically runs on backup. So that will only function for a little bit at a time. That should actually help out a bit.